Hey guys, in this video we're doing lesson 6.3, which is on maximum and minimum values. So a turning point, that is where the polynomial changes direction.
Teachers, I just sent out.
If the turning point is higher, so if it's I'll show you in just a minute, but if it's a higher point, we call it a relative maximum. And if it's a lower point, it's a relative minimum. So I'm going to draw a graph. Something like this. Anytime that you have like a hill, the top of the hill, those are your maximums. And the valleys, those are your minimums. So you've got to be able to identify your maximums and minimums. And everything that we do is got to be done in a calculator. So it's very important that you have a calculator handy. Remember, I told you in the last video about the app. I'll remind you, the app is called Calculate 84, and it's a pink app with a white calculator on it. It looks like this app right there. And when you click it, it's the calculator. That's what I would use if I were you. If you don't have a graphing calculator, but also your Chromebook does have one. All right, so this calculator does not turn on. So I'm going to go through the steps for finding the maximums and minimums. And here is the function. So first thing we do is go to y equals. And we're going to type in the function x cubed. Here's what a lot of people do. They forget to arrow over. And if you don't arrow over, you're going to type the rest of your function in the exponent. So x cubed minus 6x squared. Make sure you're following along with me. If you don't do this, you're not going to get the hang of it and you're not going to remember how to do it. And much of the next few lessons depend on you being able to find these points. Then we have plus 7x plus 2. So I type that in, and then I hit graph. So we can look at the graph. So I'm going to sketch this shape over here. And this point, this is a hill, so it's a max. This is a valley, so it's a min. Now we're going to use our calculator to find those exact points. And so step 2 says to use the calc menu. To get to that, you click second trace. Second, make sure you can see. Second trace. And notice 3 and 4 say minimum or maximum. You can find whichever one you want first, but I tend to work left to right. So the maximum is what comes first. So I'm going to go down to maximum. Sometimes there are several maximums in a graph, so you have to tell the calculator which one you're talking about. And so the calculator starts out by asking for the left bound. So if I put my cursor right on that maximum, see how I've moved it? It's right there. I'm going to go to the left just a few clicks, something like that. I want to be to the left of it, and then I hit enter. And then it asks for the right bound. So I'm going to go to the right, just a little bit past it. So here is my maximum. My cursor is to the right. And then we hit enter again. And then it says to guess. I don't know why the calculator does that, but it does. So just hit enter a third time. And it gives us the point for our maximum. We're going to write this as a coordinate, 0.7, comma, 4.3. We're going to follow the same steps to find the minimum. Second trace, I'm going to select number 3, and then it asks for the left bound. So if here's my minimum, I need to be just a little bit to the left of it. So about right there. If there's my minimum, my cursor is a little bit to the left. And I just realized my screen was frozen a little bit. So here's my minimum. My cursor is a little bit to the left. Hit enter. Then I'm going to go to the right. It doesn't have to be far past it. I went a little far, just a little bit. Basically, whenever you pick your left and right bounds, it's going to give you those vertical lines. You want to make sure that your minimum is between those vertical lines, and it is. So on the guess, we just hit enter again, and it tells us that the minimum is 3.3. A lot of times students are like, do I round? You always round. You never don't round. Unless you're going to write the entire thing, rounding rules are always a thing. They never go away. So 3.3, negative 4.3. That is the minimum. We're going to do just these next two examples. As long as you just follow the steps, there's nothing new, nothing harder about any of these. One thing I do want to point out is something that you might see on the calculator. And I don't know that we'll see it on these two examples. But sometimes you might see a number, some weird number like 2.59678 e negative 7. This is scientific notation, and basically it's saying that we take this decimal and we move it to the left 7 spots, and then we would fill in zeros. So our answer, if we did that, would be 0.0000002599678. Well, if you saw that on the calculator, you're going to be like, well, that's 0. So anytime you see this in one of your numbers, you're just going to write 0. You don't write 2.5, don't write 2.6, just write 0. But you have to be on the lookout because it's not always real obvious. This E is the same size as all of your numbers. So if you're not looking or not paying attention, you might miss it. All right, so let's do number 1. We go to y equals, and we type in negative x to the 4th, arrow over, plus 4x squared minus 2x minus 1. And it's this shape. So this one has 2 hills, so 2 maxes and 1 valley. All right, so let's go to second trace. Make sure you can see it. Go down. Let's get this max first. Number 4. And if we get this first max, I want to be a little bit to the left. So I'm going to take, there it is, I'm going to go to the left just a little bit. It doesn't matter as long as you're just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a certain number of clicks. And then we're going to go to the right just a little bit. And then we hit enter again. And it tells me that the maximum is negative 1.5, 5.9. And I'm going to leave room to write the other max, my minimum down there. You can't even see that, can you? All right, so let's go get the minimum. Second trace. Go down to minimum. All right. So there's my minimum. I've got to be just a little bit to the left. So notice how my blinking cursor is to the left of that minimum. Enter. Now I got to move it to the right just a little bit. We definitely don't want to go over that next hill. That might mess us up. Hit enter and hit enter again. And it gives us 0.3, negative 1.3. And then we'll get the other maximum, that next little hill. Second trace, go down to maximum. Now, if you ever click one and you don't remember if you clicked max or min, look up there at the top. It actually tells you. So left bound, that's about good. Enter. Okay, let's go to the right of it. Enter. And hit enter again. And it gives us 1.3, 0.3. Let's do one more, and I'm going to go a little quicker. So if you feel like you don't really have it, back up to watch those first two examples where I go slower. All right, type it in. If you feel like you have it, pause the video and test yourself out. See if you've got it. Second trace, maximum, go to the left, enter, go to the right, enter, enter. Negative 2.7. It's kind of nice when you have whole numbers. Now let's get the minimum, second trace, to the left, to the right, hit enter. 0.7, negative 2.5. Again, every time we do this, it's the same steps. So if you want to go back, if you feel a little confused, if you can't get those, go back and watch these. You may have to watch it 2 or 3 times to catch on, but make sure you're following along in a calculator. If not, you're not going to know how to get these. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know. Don't forget that all students, including MyRock Online, can come in for tutoring Wednesdays and Thursdays until 5, or on Fridays, as long as you just email us and let us know to plan on you being here. Have a great day.